Excellent. Good evening again and welcome. With us tonight in the panel is Santos Arroyo, he's back. Mirta Luaces, which is the editor of La Guia News. And we have Sam Roman, which is the owner of La Guia News. And we have Pastor Valentin Fontanes, which represent, one of the many Hispanic churches that in the Palm Beach County. So obviously, according to the census, in the 2020 census, the population, Hispanic population in Palm Beach County is growing by leaps and bounds. And the last projection that they have is that the Hispanic population is going to be anywhere between 35 to 40% in the county, whatever that number might be. When I look at it in retrospective, when I moved here, Hispanic population was barely 10%, so it has grown, and let's hope to keep, going for the better. And again, tonight we'll have the opportunity for you guys who are running for office, and I know Lake Worth have a good presence of Hispanic population in there. So I'm looking forward to listen to each one of you. So without further ado, I would like to start with our mayor, Pam, to introduce yourself and take the first hit of the ball.
Thank you. Well, I'm Mayor Pam Triolo. I've been mayor for 9.5 years here at the city of first Lake Worth, then Lake Worth Beach. I am basically have been working for the last 9 years on removing the disincentives and things that were troublesome in the city of Lake Worth Beach. Had a long sordid history, yet we've still managed to emerge as a city of great diversity, of great heart, and of great love. We welcome everybody to the city of Lake Worth Beach. It's been our mantra for quite a while now. And we are working very hard at improving. It's very difficult. People don't realize, we had this discussion before actually we began the discussion. Lake Worth is only 7 square miles. People may be called Lake Worth out at Hypoluxo and Jog or out at Military Trail or even 441, but we're only 7 square miles. And we've got, they say 38,000 people. Hopefully the census will bring us up to 50,000 because that's more like where we believe we actually are. And we have a very small tax base. So where cities like West Palm and Boca and the Gardens and even Boynton Beach have all that commercial district along Congress Avenue, we only go out to just west of 95. So we've had to improve our levels of service and our ability to do things, quite honestly, by encouraging and incentivizing things like our electric utilities. When I got there, the city of Lake Worth's electric rates were triple of any other local municipal, like FP&L, who is our biggest, the biggest guy surrounding us. We're the only municipal power agency. I created a law that forced us to have the same residential electric rates as FP&L. And we achieved that a couple of years ago. And we've been working on that ever since. We've got so many wonderful programs, our children's programs. We're going to be working in the coming years on building a world-class community center. We're going to add to our complex down by our gym. We've got a wonderful program for the children and others in the area, our Bridges groups. We just had a presentation from Dr. Epps last night. Our schools, our public schools in Lake Worth Beach are almost 50% Hispanic. And most of our kids are on, 95% on free and reduced lunches. We were able through this COVID situation to be feeding our residents every single week. And we still continue to do so. We were one of the only cities that was able to get local testing sites because so many of our people don't have either vehicles or they don't have the ability to get to those distant testing sites. So we made it a priority in English, in Spanish, in Creole. And it's been very important to us. And we are set to be probably, if the vaccine comes down to individual municipalities, because it goes from the state to the county, and then we see what happens, from that point. If it comes down to individual municipalities, we will be one of the first to have our local neighborhood vaccine program. So I've been working with the county officials, with Mayor Kerner, with Virginia Baker, the county administrator, and also nonprofits like Caridad, like the Nurses Association and Palm Beach County Fire Rescue. So we're ready and prepared to handle whatever comes our way, and we're looking forward to a beautiful future.
Thank you.
Thank you. Did I have more time?
I'm sorry. Betty, can you please? Your turn.
Okay, yes. Hi, good evening. My name is Betty Resch, and I'm running for the office of Mayor of Lake Worth Beach. But more than a candidate, I'm one of the people that lives in downtown Lake Worth. I've been living in the same house for 32 years. It's a shotgun cottage, 20 feet by 45 feet long that I bought in '89. I love living downtown because it's very diverse. In my world, you know, College Park, all the other places, that's the suburbs. For me, it's downtown. For the past 22 years, I've been a private attorney. I've been a family attorney. I do family law, essentially mostly adoptions and divorces and paternity, that sort of thing. I also have a lot of experience for the past 22 years of people coming to me with issues that they have with the city and the code enforcement department of the city. And from that experience, I've been able to see firsthand the sort of background of how the city operates when you have an issue with a property. And that's one of the reasons that I decided to run for mayor, because the code enforcement, and I'm a very strong code enforcement advocate, is quite unfair and arbitrary in the way that they handle it. Before I was an attorney here, my office is right on Lake Avenue and L Street, and my house is 2 blocks south. So my world is that big. Before I was an attorney, as a private attorney, I was the city attorney for Lake Worth for 5 years. And then I was the town attorney for Lake Park for 3 years. So I have 8 years up on a dais experiencing firsthand, advising the commissions on the legal matters, and firsthand of what the reality of being up on a dais is, and it's controversial. Before I was a city attorney, I was a prosecutor here in Palm Beach County, and I prosecuted only, I was focused, that's all I did was prosecutions where children were the victims. I was a prosecutor of the Crimes Against Children Division. I was the head of that division. I'm very proud of that work. I didn't go to law school till I was, excuse the dogs. I didn't go to law school till I was 35 years old. I was a social worker. And when I was a social worker here in West Palm, I was in the, you know, downtown West Palm Beach area. And I learned a lot about, it politicized me. I learned how we can better serve the people that need more service. I'm a member, I've been a member of different boards on the city in the past. And in 2013, I was the organizer and chairman of this Lake Worth Centennial. We had a 100-year anniversary in Lake Worth, and no one was doing anything about it. So I came forward and we raised $10,000, and hopefully we'll get some support for the city because we want to replace the clock. If any of you remember, the clock at Lake Worth Beach needs to be replaced. It was taken down by Wilma. I'm a member of the Lantana and the Finnish American Chamber of Commerce. I'm married to a retired special agent with alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, federal agent. My niece is a deputy on the road right now. My brother just retired from the Lake Worth, well, from the Palm Beach Fire Department, but he asked to be in Lake Worth. He also lived in Lake Worth. Recently, our city's been floundering, and our mayor, she's been here a long time, and I see being a mayor or a city commissioner as a public service.
10 more seconds. 10 more seconds.
I'm in favor of term limits because I want to get more people involved in guiding our city. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll go to the next candidate, Mr. William Joseph, please.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity. My name is Mr. William Joseph. I am a 26 years living in the city of Lake Worth Beach. I'm a father, husband. For my little bit about my career, I'm a private detective, senior investigator, also fugitive recovery, and security instructor licensed by the state of Florida. The reason why I'm running for this is because I believe the city of Lake Worth Beach deserves a better representation in our city government. I've been there for 25 years and plus, so working around, I see nothing I've done on the city. They've been tried to keep saying every election, every moment of the election season, they keep saying, okay, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. And I used to work for a couple of candidates, help them out, but which is, it's a little bit shame on myself to see what is going on, what is happening in our city. So I love Lake Worth, and I've been there. My first daughter, she's 23. I have 17 and 16 and 2 years old. So I need to see the best for my children. My priority right now for the city, my top priority for the city, is finding resources for the family on small business. I've been hurting, and because of this pandemic. There is no job in Lakewood Beach. The job that we have in the city of Lakewood Beach is from people coming from elsewhere. So we have about like 38 to 29,000 people, like according to the census in city of Lakewood Beach. As a private detective, when I'm working around, people always complaining, said, okay, they have to go elsewhere. Then people stay out there playing dominoes and stuff. They don't have anything in city of Lakewood Beach to do. So as well, we need a government being there for the people, not for the government, because government cannot put you nowhere. You have to be there, especially for the minority people. They have nothing. Nothing happen everywhere. They try and try. And for the city of Lakewood, which nothing ever done, and we don't see anything. So that's the main reason, because I'm running for this position, because I know we can do better. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to start with Ms. Mirta Loaces. You have some questions?
Yes, I do have some questions for Mayor Pam. What is her last name?
Triolo.
Okay. Mayor, you said that you guys have a partnership with the National League of Cities, Race Equity and Leadership to provide some changes in the future for the minorities community in Lake Worth. Can you explain what kind of change do you think you can bring to the city, especially among the Hispanic community?
You want to unmute yourself?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
That's
There's
okay.
been no this last year has been a very strange one, that's for sure. It's been very tumultuous for so many people, and the Hispanic community was hit extremely hard through this global pandemic, as well as many of the other underprivileged people in certain sections of our town that are really under a lot of stress right now. The one thing that it's also brought to mind is that there needs to be dialogue. There needs to be people talking about it, their feelings. There needs to be people talking about what they need in their different communities. And, you know, I've been faulted for having an idea on one thing about where dollars need to be spent. I think the one thing that this pandemic showed is that we need to get back to basics. We need to focus on our people and our families and our education and put our money where our mouth is for a change. This program from the National League of Cities was a great way for us to actually bring people in that have been doing it and have success stories, not only in just the big cities like Los Angeles and New York and whatever, but in small towns like Topeka, Kansas, and other places. You know, we're a small city, and we need to be able to have, we do a good job of getting together on some things, but not. And it's been really difficult to get leaders in the Hispanic community to get involved with the downtown. They're not represented on our dais. They're not represented, you know, in business community organizations in our city, yet they're one of the largest population within our city. Why is that? I remember when I first got here to the city of Lake Worth Beach, I tried to arrange an introduction where I would go to all the local businesses and the Hispanic-owned businesses and meet with them to see, what are you not getting from the city? And I went out there probably about 16 times, you know, and I wasn't able to have the kind of sit downs that I wanted. We really need more organization when it comes to our business community within the city, and we need more representation. I really believe that. I've been trying to bring in the future leaders to sit up on that dais and to do things. I think that to say that things are good and that there's not racism in the community is ludicrous. There's racism all around this country. There's racism everywhere. And the fact of the matter is, until people can actually have an honest discussion about things, and we train people and show them the right things to do from a government standpoint, from a neighbor standpoint, everything all around, but nothing's going to happen unless we talk honestly and openly. We've started with the National League of Cities Real program from a staff and a commission basis. The next step is to create priorities to actually achieve in our community. And then we will be reaching out within the community for leaders to come forth and actually help us to execute those plans. We didn't want to just sit there and have a, you know, people just talking about how they feel. We wanted to actually create an executable plan that will change things in our community and make us more aware and alert and make better decisions for all the people of this community. The one thing that I focused on the whole time I've here, when I
Time's
first
up.
got here. That's it? I'm sorry, was
Time's
that it? Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank
William, I would like you to
Yes,
answer
sir.
the same question that Ms. Luaces asked.
Yes, sir. Um, I I want to focus on making our street attractive for everybody and updating our public facilities. So I mean, working on our beach, bring more restaurant and around, make a hotel. At this point, we can create opportunity for the people. Many of people coming from out of country, they're waiting for job. They work in the hotel, they work everywhere. They can work in a restaurant. We don't have anything, especially right there on City of Lake Beach, except Lake Avenue. Any little club that we have around, it's a motel, but they're not, I mean, cannot bring any revenue for the city. We have the pool to cost only $6 million from how many years it's been sitting there. I'm not gonna take that from anybody who can state that, okay, at this point we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. It's gonna cost only 6 million. We have the money right there. Not everything we need to work for the government. Most of the time we need to use ourselves to knock on doors and then find the local businesses to make things happen. I myself, we have resources to make things happen. We need to go around and then talk to people, find something for your community. The people being elected you, they're not elected you because of your friend and families. There is no friend in politics. We need to do better. We need to work for the people. We need to work hard to make that change. The minority people in the city of Lake Beach, they got nothing, zero. They are zero. And one thing I can promise, I will make sure that when I get elected, when I get there, I will make sure everybody going to get something. Even they're not eating at all, but they will find something. They will smell the food. It's better to smell the food instead of not getting anything. So when people smell it, they feel like sometimes someday. I know most of the time the government to take action. They do something people, the community don't even want. But 10, 15 to 20 more years coming up, they will say, okay, Mr. Mayor was good about it. This was doing good, this was doing well. But the primary thing, there wasn't good. But the city of Lake Beach, the commission that we have right now, been sit there for 10 years and up. They've done nothing for the minority. They keep crying about electricity. That's the pain in in the city of Lake Beach. I can promise that I've talked to many of other candidates that been around. So we're going to work on it to reduce and not bringing there to raising tax on people. We need to give the families, the hard workers people, the break. We're going to make sure that to cut the tax on people, to make sure that they can have, you rent a house this year for $2. Next year, they want to put it like for $2.50, $3. Nobody
Time's
around
up.
can say anything for you.
Thank you, William. Ms. Betty, please, same question.
Yes, thank you. Excellent question. And I have to start out by saying the mayor's had 9.5 years to start a conversation. I don't know why it's taken her so long. When I was city attorney back in the 90s, I realized that the people in the western, it's the western part of our town, were totally underserved. I went out with the fire safety people, the police, the health department, sometimes other members of the community, and we would just go through the community, the underserved communities, and knock on the doors, and the people were welcoming. We said, what can we do to help you? And one of the things that we found was that a lot of the landlords, there were people living paying rent, and they would say, well, 2 weeks ago we told the landlord that the toilet doesn't work and he's not doing anything about it. I also believe, and it's not been done again after 9.5 years, an ID program. Our folks that work in agricultural, whether I don't care about their documentation status, they get a check at the end of the week. And on Friday nights, and I've seen this myself, the cars pull into that neighborhood, and they're check cashing cars. So because they haven't got a bank account, so they give their check to the guy in the car. The guy gives them money, not with a big fee taken out. And then those folks are walking around with money in their socks and in their pockets. And every weekend, those guys are beaten up and robbed, and they can't report it to the police because they're undocumented. I propose that we have a municipal ID so that these folks can open a bank account, so that their checks can go into the bank and they can have ATM cards and act like people, like citizens. My nephew grew up on South J Street, and he is now very proudly a teacher at Adopt a Family, and he works with underprivileged Hispanic, Black, Haitian, all the kids in the town. And so he sees, and we see on a firsthand basis, the kinds of struggles that these folks have. It's very nice that the city has the National League of City program, and I watched it, and it's good, but that's too little too late. We need to go into this community, people. These are hard. The rent, everybody complains about rentals. Well, the rentals pay higher ad valorem taxes than the homeowners do. So I think we need to pay a little more attention. I think that we need to perhaps, a lady got ticketed for selling tamales out of the back of her car. I think that we need to find a way in the community to open up perhaps a communal kitchen, which is registered and licensed, so that these ladies can do this without having fear of getting a ticket. We're not very friendly. The town's not, we can say we're welcoming, but we're really not. If you're in College Park, if you're on the East Coast, if you're near the water, everything's great. But everyone refers to this, the west side of town, it's dangerous. We need to get a bigger police presence down there. We need to get more community policing. It used to be a priority. I don't see that. I don't hear that from
Time's
the
up.
community, the people that I speak with, as a priority as well. We need to make the inclusiveness of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Pastor Valentin, you would like to ask the next question? You can ask it in Spanish and I will translate for you, not a problem.
Buenas noches. Soy
Good evening.
Pastor Valentín Fontanes, más de 27 años aquí en la ciudad de
Over
pastor.
27 years in the city.
Fui presidente de los pastores unos años atrás y actualmente soy miembro de la junta directiva de la Asociación de Pastores del Condado de Palm Beach.
He's the past president of the Pastors Association and he's part of the board as of this moment.
Voy a hacer mis preguntas en español. Sé un poco inglés, pero quisiera hacerlas en español para no perder nada de lo que quiero decir.
He's going to ask a couple of questions in Spanish because he doesn't want to miss the meaning of what he wants to say.
Lo primero que quería preguntarle es lo siguiente. Hace unos meses o un año atrás, en una de las actividades que hizo la comisión, algo que, por ejemplo, muchos de los pastores de la ciudad de Lakewood me llamaron y me hicieron el acercamiento, es que por primera vez se estaba orando por Satanás también, incluyeron a Satanás en la oración en la ciudad de Lakewood, en la comisión. Entonces quería ver qué piensan ellos acerca de esto, porque ustedes saben que esto es una nación que los padres fundadores la fundaron a través de fundamentos bíblicos. ¿Y qué piensan ellos de acerca de este evento? Y lo segundo que quería preguntarle...
Espera eso, un momento.
Ok.
Vamos a quedarnos la primera. Nada más. Okay. Now, he wants to ask a question. About a year ago, he was called by the city commissioners to testify regarding the how do we say, the pray for Satanism. And he said, well, we are in a country that it's being very Christian, is very, very moving forward with values. And what is your position? What is the current position of you guys regarding that type of belief? And I would like to start with William.
We are here thank you very much, and muchas gracias for the good afternoon. Muchas gracias, mi amigo. We are not here for ourselves. We are here for the community. And with ourselves, one vote cannot make you anywhere. My position, when I get there and I become a mayor, I will make sure that to work with the community and work with the staff. There's so many of questions that right now I'm not going to be able to tell you yes or no, but and my priority, I will work as a lead to make sure to make things happen, to satisfy the people. Not on my first term, you guys going to see So I know it's hard on the city of Lakewood Beach. That's why we lost a lot of businesses. When they come to start to establish anything on city of Lakewood Beach, they not even they ask them a lot of money to make it happen, but they never got what they need. They have to go elsewhere. So, and my presence, we have so many different big business, big investors who come to the city, and then they have to go because they're unable to stop. They only nobody when I help out. If, you know, the commission that we have, since I understand most of them they need to go because not only because they've been there long, but this is why I support the term. But for those of dangerous situations happen in the city, when you elect somebody, they need to be there for you on the good and the bad time. But this question is a very nice question. I take a note of it, and I will make sure after March 9, we will get a result of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Betty?
Could you, I think you froze for a minute. Could you just repeat the question? I apologize.
Like he was asking what he was asked by the city commissioners to go and testify regarding, because there was a came about how to say praising Satanism, Satan, you know, and he's been from the Christian side, you know, found this to be a little bit awkward. So he was asking, what is your position regarding that type of approach in the community?
Esto salió, perdona.
I'm sorry, regarding what?
Salió en
I think I have a bad
salió
connection.
en las redes sociales, algunos periódicos lo pusieron, que los comisionados incluyeron orar por Satanás cuando se comienza algún tipo de evento en la ciudad.
That every time the commissioner
como parte de los grupos como si fuera grupos religiosos como tal.
that the city commissioners were recognizing the people who were praising Satan as part of an organized type of organization, and they were invited, you know, to be part of the commencement of whatever activity was, and that they would pray for Satan at the same time that were the other ones doing something different.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate moment for the commission to be exposed to. One of the things, though, and I was raised a Lutheran, my life is what would Jesus do? I am a firm Christian, and I try to live by the Christian, you know, do unto others, and we're here to help the poor. You know, I mean, that's how I live my life. But we also have a First Amendment, and having some, you know, allowing them to come and speak. And I watched, it was absurd, it was ridiculous. But that's the thing about America. We all get to say what we believe. You don't have to follow it, but we have to respect it. I think that instead of a prayer in the beginning of because that's been a controversy, a moment of silence, a moment of silent reflection about the state of the world, and ask in your own heart. I was raised Lutheran, and in Lutheran, we don't have public confession. We are told we have a moment of silence in our service to reflect and to ask God for forgiveness for what we've done. So I think that was just done to test the commission. I really do. I think it was just done to see what would happen. And I understand it was, I appreciate that it was an unpleasant moment for them, but I do believe that everyone has the opportunity, because we're in America, to speak what they believe. We just don't have to follow it. We don't have to, we have to let it happen. That's the beautiful thing about America, is we all have, we can express our religious ideas without fear of punishment. So although I found it ridiculous that they did that guy did that, that's America. Do I live by that creed? No. I believe in living a good life and doing as we would do to them, as they would do to us. So that's my answer.
Thank you. Mayor?
Mi dispiace, no habla español, parliamo italiano. Io sono uno seconda generazione italiano-americano. La mia famiglia vive in Italia. So as you can see, I was raised Catholic in an Italian household, and I know what the First Amendment rights are. But this gentleman had been taunting the city for a long time. And what we didn't realize, we're back kind of when it was closer to when we were first elected. And we didn't realize that the city had a rule in place that allowed anyone in the community to give an invocation and sign up for the invocations before our meetings. We didn't know that was in place. It had never been questioned before. So that was just kind of something that happened for decades. This gentleman was very active in the country and was testing cities and towns around the country because he didn't believe that religion should be in city meetings. So he was testing that around the country. He chose us because we have a smaller town and it was easier to gain access to it because a lot of cities had apparently changed their rules. So we had to let him come and give his invocation. Now, by law, we have to give him the right to speak, but he wasn't guaranteed an audience. And that's why myself and 3 other commissioners walked out before he gave that invocation. In addition, that man was also using the Bible to threaten a congressman, a national congressman, using his daughter, his teenage daughters, he put on social media and used a passage that said, and you shall rape the virgins and make them your wives. The man was a sick guy. And nobody uses rape in any way, shape, or form to go after someone. He then taunted not just my religion, but every religion, basically saying that they were all stupid and they were all this. And like I said, I stand by the fact that I walked out. I don't believe that that's, the Supreme Court has ruled that we are allowed to have invocations and religion. Religion is an important part of my life on a day-to-day basis. And I know that I have to separate certain things, but when it comes to somebody abusing their power and them coming in and trying to taunt those who have values and who believe in Christ and who believe in God, I thought was a travesty. And I stand by my decision to walk out. And if he did it again, I'd walk out again.
Thank you.
La segunda pregunta es lo siguiente. Yo como pastor he llevado mucha gente para ayudarlos con las utilidades. Y me he dado cuenta que los hermanos que no tienen papeles le cobran un poco más en el depósito. ¿Por qué esa política? ¿Por qué le cobran más a la gente que no tienen papeles cuando van a sacar, por ejemplo, a poner la luz en sus apartamentos y demás?
But one of the things he noticed is that some of the members of his church are undocumented, and then when they go to the public utilities, they require a higher amount of money for deposits compared to those who have documents. I'm going to start with Betty.
That's terrible. That's terrible. If you live in Lake Worth, you should be treated equally. You're paying tax. The federal immigrants are what they are. We have no control over that. My belief is that every human being that lives in Lake Worth should be treated with the dignity, respect, and fairness and equality of everybody else. Because I'm a white woman, I should be, born here. I should be treated better than somebody that escaped execution, that came here because they needed to get out of here, to get out of where they were. It makes me very angry when I hear that sort of thing, because it's really, excuse the phone. It's not right. It's just not right. We don't have a fair system in the city for that sort of thing. There's no reason for that. So my answer is I disagree. When I'll be able to change that. But he told us. That's it.
All right, thank you. William, you got to unmute. You mute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Can't hear you.
There you go.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. It's ridiculous. And that's been happening so many times in the city of Liquid Beach. It's been happened to my people. It's happened to Hispanic people. I have a lot of Hispanic people. I'm my best friend. Most of them, last week, I have 3 of them. They come to my house and we're talking and barbecue together. They're talking about the same situation. Said, okay, they have the neighbor and then paying like such of money for the electricity bill, which is they have nothing. I know those people I go to the house, they have nothing really inside of the house. I mean, they have different pay, but the other guys have some big houses and then many rooms. Those two Spanish guys, they have 2 little homes. They have to pay $600, which they don't have a restaurant. They have nothing. They said, Mr. William, why should we pay to all those money? I said, it's the first time. They said, no, they keep paying that money. Even they went over there at the city. They went over there when they used to have it. You know, it's something that we need to change. I understand they maybe don't have so many people to work, but they have 1,000 people put the application to work. Why they don't hire people? They do that on purpose. They close this facility to make sure that nobody can go live to see somebody to complain about anything. So we need to work on that to make sure it's not happening, because we have 1 people in the city of Lakewood Beach. When you live in the city of Lakewood Beach, everybody's supposed to treat fairly. It's happened to the sheriff. When they stop Hispanic people, they stop Black people, they treat you differently. When they stop you kids out there, if it's about little white people, they said, okay, what are you doing there? Go home. I was present. They take the guys, that's his stars, he get little trade, they face him down on the ground, the hot ground. So this is why. So we need to step up. We need to make sure to vote for the right person. So don't
Time's
take
up.
any.
Thank you. Mr. Viola?
Hi, what I'm hearing is not accurate at all. And one thing that we need to do is to have better communication between groups in the community. And that's why I was initially looking for leaders in the different cultures, because we need to have them stand up and explain how things work. First of all, number one, undocumented workers do not get charged more money than anybody else. The problem is the way the system works when we had switched to an outside operator, just like FP&L has, by the way. You can't really walk up and talk to anybody and have an appointment with them, but you can with us. All you have to do is call and make an appointment, and you can see and speak with someone immediately. The issue is that we lost millions of dollars as a city because they didn't have deposits on file, and because we have a very high rental community, a lot of people ditched on their bills. So what we did was we had, if you have an existing account, say you moved from some area with FP&L and you had history, then you would pay a lower deposit. If you don't have any history, then you would pay a higher deposit. And this group of accountants and actuaries or whatever they are would decide that this was a risk and this was not, and that they wanted to make sure you could cover at least a month or two of rent a month or two of utilities in the case of it. But we have programs in place that help people regardless of documentation or not. And it was mentioned earlier too that we don't have an ID program. We do have an ID program, and we signed on with an ID program last year. And prior to that, we had an ID program that was being handled by PBSO that was going out. We had hundreds of people show up for that ID program. In addition, at my encouragement, we also now have the Guatemalan consulate within our city limits. In fact, my private business is right next door in the same building as the Guatemalan consulate. We have increased the level of communications tremendously, and we have the ability now to work with people if they can't make that big deposit, but they need to know that they need to reach out to us to speak with them. We also have nonprofits who could help you make that deposit so that you could make, and we also have people within our own community that have donated money to help people make those deposits, and also to help them through the COVID-19 situation. People that all they have to do is
Time's up.
say, thanks.
Thank you. For the next question, we're going to have Mr. Sam Brown from La Guia News. Please, Sam. Unmute yourself.
Hi, everyone. I have several questions. Actually, I have 3 questions. And for each one of the candidates, I'd like to start with the mayor.
Sure.
Do you support using some of the penny sales tax money on the beach, park, and pool?
You know what? I initially did until we went through this global pandemic. I mean, I'd stated in the beginning, we started to find that there were so many things that were much more needed. in our community, from programs to our facilities, to our pantries, to our, I mean, it's really brought me, especially back down to basics, to what are some of the severe needs, especially in our underprivileged neighborhoods. You know, I work with the Guatemalan Mayan Center and Father Frank, and you know, we've been constantly pushing, you know, food and programs and programming and loans and all different types of programs through the city to get people through it. But it's made me realize that we don't have the support systems in place that we thought we did, going through something that we never were prepared for. You know, there was nobody prepared for a global pandemic. And I think that there are better ways to get a pool built up there, which would be through a public-private partnership. It's the way other cities and towns have done it for decades. It's the way small cities and towns do it. You can still get the amenities, you still own the property, and you have it for the rest of your life. It's always will maintain the cities. And you get, you know, you get a project that happens without having to use taxpayer dollars to do it. And that's good for an amenity. But I think we need to use that penny sales tax on the people of our community, the programs. We are low on VPK through middle school programs, after school programs, stuff we used to have back in the day, the police athletic, in the Boys and Girls Club, programs that'll keep our kids safe, that'll help and prepare them for the future. And also to bridge the gap in the education that they're not getting right now. The scores are going down in our schools because of the remote learning.
Thank you. Ms. Betty?
Apparently, the mayor is unaware of the fact that the penny sales tax is only to be used for infrastructure and not things like, as worthy as they may be, not things like after-school programs. The city has already spent $300,000 on studies for the beach and the pool. The mayor has changed her position. I go up to the pool twice a day. I go in the morning and at night, and I drive by. And after school, after work, the families that we have nothing up there to offer for families right now. I want to see the beach and the beach area and the pool, a place where a hardworking family who doesn't have a pool, doesn't have a lot of money to go up after work. They would never open the pool. The pool was closed because the city wanted the pool closed. The mayor allowed that to happen. And now we have no place for people to go. Now, I want to see a family-friendly place where you can go up and have a splash place for the kids. I've spoken with the people that are I've been swimming in that pool since 1967. It's very, very dear to me. And I believe that we need to open that pool. The $6 million isn't going to be enough, but it's seed money to allow for matching grants, for things like that, which has never in the past 9.5 years been explored. So yes, I do believe that the money it's money that doesn't exist. I mean, at this point, it's earmarked for that. And apparently if you earmark something, it's okay to just change your mind midstream. The pandemic, you can't blame everything on the pandemic.
Time's up.
Thank you.
Thank you. William?
Yes, this is a very nice question. The sales tax funding was positioned to be used to invest in the area that will give the greatest return in investment. I believe I'm positioned to fund to be used for that. To focus should also to be for only the specific areas. So when you use the tax money, and especially that we can
Unmute yourself. You mute yourself. William, you mute
I don't see that.
Yeah.
So we need to have the pool to be open. So it's been set there for decades. I mean, every election, people always say they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. We have nothing to bring revenue on the city of Lakewood Beach. So it's gonna cost only $6 million, according to what they said. And why they don't do it? How many more times the mayor need to fix it? 10 more years, 20 more years? Golf Swim Hotel, Casino, they're always there. I've been campaigning with those guys. They always say the same thing every moment. So when it's gonna be happen? Today, or in 10 more years, or in 20 more years? No, this is why I don't like to call myself a politician. I'm a public servant. I would like to stay the way I am.
Time's up.
Thank you, William. Sam,
Yes, I have two more questions.
please go ahead.
Lakewood Beach lacks in taxable property. What are your plans to increase it?
Let's start with Ms. Betty.
I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble. Can you repeat the question? I'm in the back of the house.
Lake Worth Beach lags in taxable property. What are your plans to increase it?
One of the things we need to do, I think there's a saying that says, the rising water raises all ships. One of the things that we need to do, we have many homes that are we need to increase home ownership to begin with. We have many homes, small. I live in a 20 by 45 foot cottage. There's many little homes like that all through the town. Many of them are sitting derelict with high code enforcement fines. I think that the city has not been marketed. We have not, we have an opportunity to have a national marketing system to set up tents in different places and say, listen, come to Lake Worth. We've not done that. So I would like to start a program where we do reach out to other places and have people come in and do, get an old house, prove that you can pay to improve it, and then you can own a house for a reasonable amount of money. That, number one, will increase home ownership and will also raise the awareness of people to be proud of our city. The big developments are fine where they're appropriate. They're not appropriate in every place, and they do raise the taxes, but they also do use services. You have 150 apartments, you've got 150 people needing ambulances and that sort of thing. The Gulfstream, which is something privately owned, and we have very little control over that. Hopefully that will come, some news is coming, and that will get open.
Time's up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi,
Mr. Triolo?
my turn. I've been working on that for quite a while, and we've had a lot of improvements. To give you an idea, when I first got to the city, there were $0 of new investment in a 3-year period. Zero. We've got over $650 million of new projects that are coming in. Everything from affordable housing to market rate housing, to new single family homes. The investment in our community is tremendous. I don't know what everybody's thinking about, that nobody's coming here or nobody's marketed. We've been in USA Today, the New York Times. We've been all over, people calling us where Key West meets Soho. People are moving in droves. A house can't sit on the market for more than a week if it's reasonably priced. And we're talking up to $450,000 down to $90,000 or $80,000. If it's within that price point, it's gone within 2 weeks tops. We're the hottest market right now. Any realtor will tell you that. And we have more choices within our community than ever before. We need to infill our city with good, smart projects for everybody. And that infill is so important because, like I said before, we're only 7 square miles. The Dixie Highway Corridor just added over 270 units, and it will be the start of that transformation of the Dixie Corridor. Downtown, the Bohemian is coming. We've got the Artist Lofts. We've got new projects on the way that are going to put feet on the street and create a thriving downtown, including the new Gulfstream Hotel, which is going to start building this year.
Thank you. William?
Well, we cannot increase in tax on people who don't have any jobs in the city. Many people who's working on the city, they're coming from elsewhere, Boca, Wellington, everywhere, but which is nobody in the city of Lake Worth qualified for any position. So the first thing we need to do, we need to put our city for sale. We need to make it nice, very nice thing happen. We don't even have any welcome environment. I have friends coming from Berkeley. When they jumping up from the bus in downtown, where they call downtown, and then when he called me, he said, "Okay, where you are?" He said, "She said, okay, she's in Lucerne Avenue." I said, "No, you're in downtown." She said, "No, I'm not in downtown. I have to cross the bridge." And I said, "No, stay right here." Can you imagine? So people have to work hard outside and they come into the city. Then when we drive around, we see a lot of vacant houses. Nobody in the city to work on it. So the affordable house that they build, they're so extreme expensive. Nobody can live at there. The city been divided. The College Park and the rest of the city. How many people will live down there? And how many people from out of the west from Dixie?
Hands up. Thank you. Sam, you have the last question?
One more question. What should be done with the Gulfstream Hotel?
What?
What should be done with the Gulfstream Hotel?
William, you want to start with that?
Yes, sir. The Gulfstream Hotel, we have resources. We have money sit there, you know. So they've been there for over 2 decades. Keep saying, okay, they're going to work on the Gulfstream Hotel. They're going to, why in few months from the election, and then our current mayor saying that they're going down, that they put this on construction, which is not true. They've been saying that so very long. I myself, I will make sure on my first year to reopen Gulfstream Hotel, because this gonna bring a lot of revenue. Everybody is gonna be called a win-win for everybody in the city of Lakewood Beach. You know, we don't have hotel. That's the only one thing that the only one we have. So why don't we make it happen? We cannot have any tourists. We cannot welcome anybody in the city of Lakewood Beach. Not even a huge restaurant that we don't even have. We have a lot of little things that people have been satisfied with it. No, the community they know what they want. They want more, which is, so Gulfstream Hotel will definitely reopen. I've been already talked to a couple of candidates. I know they have power to win. So that's the thing we need. We need a collaboration. We are here. We're not enemies.
Time's
We
up.
are a friend.
Thank you. Mr. Riolo?
The amazing thing is that first you have to keep in mind that the Gulfstream Hotel is a private property. The Gulfstream Hotel was sitting empty and quiet long before I ever even thought I'd be interested in politics. It was been around and it was closed for a long time. Mr. Schlesinger, some of the people that supported Ms. Resch, that support her now, were actually involved in suing over the Gulfstream Hotel, and they actually got involved in suing the hotel and stopping it from being developed. There was an anti-development kind of force that was in the city that believed that, you know, blight and slum keeps things affordable. And ironically, they also own their own, you know, extra properties and things of that nature. So what was interesting with the Gulfstream is that our job, when there was interest in it, I found the initial people to come in and do it. And unfortunately, they didn't work out. They weren't doing any of their properties around, but it's not a job of the government. It's a private property. It was my goal basically to make sure it didn't get turned into a sober home or a assisted living facility or something else that it could have been, because the owner of that property could pretty much turn it into anything that they wanted. So it was my job as the mayor to make sure that the people that own that property know that the city needs a hotel, that the downtown needs
Time's
a
up.
hotel. And they're going to be starting that hotel within the year. I've been meeting with the owners and it's a go.
Thank you. Ms. Betty?
Well, I first have to take issue with the statement that the mayor just made about somehow I am connected with people that had a lawsuit. I have been a private citizen. I was against, I mean, when I heard about that lawsuit, I thought it was ridiculous. And I told the people that were bringing it that I just completely disagreed with it, that it held the city back. So I really, Ms. Triola, I wish you would stop spreading that rumor, because it's just frankly not true. You can roll your eyes all you want. The Gulfstream is a private place. Now, the mayor says, and we've been waiting a very long time, it is private, which limits our ability to have it. I don't know, because I'm not the mayor yet. I don't know the incentives, if any, that the city is allowed or it has offered to the folks that are doing the Gulfstream. Apparently last summer, they were able to open up a beautiful place in Sioux City, Iowa, but we still sit empty. I stayed in the Gulfstream Hotel. The Gulfstream Hotel has been part of the downtown for obviously many years. So, you know, whatever we can do to get the Gulfstream open, I absolutely agree with. And I have to take absolute issue with the fact that the mayor, I don't know why, somehow wants to have a rumor. I am a tax-paying citizen and never had anything to do with any of those lawsuits. And I think it's kind of a sign of desperation that she keeps repeating that. We need to get the Gulfstream open. Whatever we can do to do that, we will.
Thank you. Thank you, Sam. The last question I'm going to ask you is a very simple one. You know, Paul, you know, I work all my life on one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies, you know, for 35 years, the last 15 of them were in Tallahassee. And I was a registered lobbyist, you know, and it was about protecting, you know, individuals who are Medicaid recipients, individuals who are indigents, individuals who have no insurance, and because of the laws, the way they operate, many of them are undocumented and they cannot participate legally in the programs available to take care of them. So, and one of the things that you see, you got accustomed to see, that is, regardless of where the politicians are from or where they're located, when election time comes, minorities tend to be real attractive and friendly, because many of those minorities can exercise the right to vote because they qualify, they can do it. Once that politician gets elected, it is like those minorities never existed, whether they're Hispanics, African Americans, or they come from the moon. Doesn't really matter. So, Miss Betty, what's your approach to that?
Well, one of the things that I've noticed, and then again, I live in downtown. I have a very diverse community that I live in. And I'm not up in College Park or Parrot Cove, or I don't live on the golf course. So I see this every day. I mean, my neighbors are working people, and I see that they are totally underserved. And I'm one of those people that watches politicians who promise things and don't deliver on those promises. Whatever the city can do to help and welcome we have a huge, amazing, diverse population. When I was chairman of the Centennial Committee 7 years ago, one of the things that we did, we had International Day. And I got some pushback from it because I welcomed the Haitians and the Spanish people and the Finnish people and the Irish people and the Bolivians that lived here. And we had a great festival. I believe in absolutely celebrating the diversity of the city, which I do not see this current commission doing. I have watched every commissioner for the past 40 years promise things and not delivered on them. The only reason I'm running is because I believe that the city needs a better representation. I believe that more people need to be involved in it. We can talk about, let's get more people on commissions and let's get people involved, but again, 10 years and nothing's really happened. So I'm sort
Time's
of,
up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Riolo?
Well, someone seemed to be more concerned about where I live. We work hard for where we are. My husband's in construction. I own a small business. I'm a small business owner. My father was a printer. My grandfather was a farmer, and they lived in Italy, and they came over here. They worked hard. My dad was the first one to go to college in my family. And you know what? That's the American way. We came here for that very same reason. My family, sometimes my girlfriends from Colombia, especially, they called me the first Latin infusion. It was the Italians when we came over here to America and immigrated in the 1920s. I have a huge heart for all cultures. When I got here, the first thing I did after being elected was going into all the underprivileged neighborhoods and finding out why those neighborhoods were ignored for decades. And I put my money where my mouth is. I worked for 5 years to fix roads, fire hydrants, safe routes to school for Barton Elementary, lighting, brought back all new road projects. They ignored, in the underprivileged communities, they ignored streets. They plotted streets everywhere else, but ironically, they left them out in those areas and left them dirt roads. It looked like a third world country and part of our city. And it was only a mile from the glorious downtown or the glorious beach. Who was investing in their future and their lives and their livelihoods? I did, and I continue to do so. I am constantly involved with minority communities. I am constantly.
Time's up.
Thank you. William?
Yes, we have 50% Hispanic in total in the city of Lakewood Beach. 45% in Black American and Latino in the city. We have only 5% white in the city of Lakewood Beach. So, to tell you the truth, they're treating differently, way differently. They put the 95% people way on the back. I myself, I'm a victim of that. I've been helping around many officials in the city of Lakewood Beach. They never deliver the services. They keep the only one thing they're good at, the promises. I will do this, I will do that. I believe it's a shame on right now, after 9 years and after 10 years, like our current mayor been there, never done anything, never done what she was promised. And then now This is going to do this, is going to do that. No, I'm not going to take that. And nobody is going to take it. This is why the community support me and everybody walk around and then knock on the doors. They'll do that. They will tell you that clearly. They send me, I've been endorsed with the community. They send me and they told me, okay, Mr. Joseph, I know you hard. I know you used to come out there. Now is the time to bring people together. That's why they call this country United of America. We need to unite ourselves. There is a lot of racist situation in the city of Lakewood Beach. Because call it on the community.
Thank you very much. If any other of the panelists have a question for any of the candidates, Sam, Mirta?
No, it's all good. So we need to allow 2 minutes for the final.
I have one more question that just came in.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
It's regarding the access to the city's budget without making public requests. What is your take on that?
Okay, Miss Betty?
Well, when I decided to run and I started getting information together, I did a I don't think you should have to do a public records request to see the budget. Our website is all pretty pictures and like a PowerPoint. You can't get any real information from it. I think the budget should be on the website so anyone who's interested can look. What do we have? Yeah, I don't think we should have anything to hide. It took me 3 weeks to get a copy of the budget. So that's again, one of the reasons I'm running. We need to bring information to the public. There's a very deep core of interested people in this, and we shouldn't have to specifically ask for information. When the penny sales tax, there's this little pretty box where it says, this is what we're gonna do, and this is what we're gonna do. I fortunately, the city manager did provide me when I asked for the actual numbers, but it shouldn't take that. We should be able to see it on the website. Any citizen should be able to go to the website and see, where's my money going? And where's
Thanks,
my
Al.
money going to? Thank you.
Thank you. William?
This is our money. This is the community money. It's our sales tax. We need to make it clear, loud and clear, for everybody can look at it, to know about it. I don't see why we have to, if we have to go to 300, 400 pages to look for something. We don't need that on City of Lakewood Beach. We need everything on the table. It's the community money. They need to know where the money invest, why it is invest. Most of the decision that this commission take, they took it for the people. They don't let the community know. That's the main reason, because I'm running. When I talk to people outside, so they told me, okay, how much is the city budget for a year? Nobody knows anything. Okay, which is their money, and it's been invested. They're supposed to be the boss. And then why, if I am your boss, and then I cannot get any control over what I'm spending, and then you spend like, no, we have $40 million spent down.
Thank you. Mr. Riolo?
The budget, we completely revamped the website to make sure that everything was interactive. We actually had a state-of-the-art website that had everything on it. Right now, if you have a project in reference to the road bond, all you have to do is look on it, and you even have a GIS system that you can click on a street, any street, your address within the city, and see where the dollars are actually being spent. Our budget was put on there, and unfortunately, there was a frivolous lawsuit guy, just like in the restaurants got hit with, saying that the toilet paper holder was not ADA compliant. Well, they did it to cities and towns all over the country. And they basically started suing cities because they said it wasn't ADA compliant. And that's when we had to change probably the thousands of dollars we put into that site to make it technologically savvy and up to date. You could actually see, we actually had a thing in there with the budget that if you took money out of one fund, how it would affect the budget. And it showed you in real time how to do it. We've tried as much as we can, but this lawsuit situation, we're trying to all band together as cities and towns so that we can start putting our information back on the sites. In the meantime, there's public requests. I'm sure that's how they had to get the information back when Ms. Resch was the city attorney.
Thank you. We're going to give 1 minute to each one of you to say your statement as to what should we remember about you and why you should be elected. Let's start with William.
My name is Mr. William Joseph. Give me a second.
I hope you didn't fall.
Okay. My 1 minute started.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
We need to have hotel in city of Lakewood. We need to have a restaurant. With that, we need to have set our street attractive. We need to flourish downtown. The city hall that we have many years ago, many years, people, the commission that we have, they keep saying, okay, they're gonna do this. From the past to this commission, they said, okay, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. They never done anything. We have homeless people. They never done anything for them. Most of them, they fight for us. They put us on where we are today. They kick them out. We need to have a new community center. We only have one in Miami. We need to have one over here. We need to make sure that to create a diverse entertainment. We need to have a use. We need to welcome investors to make sure when they come and to invest on our city, to make sure that they have a permit to do what they need to do. Not only take the money from people in the city of Lakewood Beach, because they're working elsewhere. Not only they being there to tax on people, they don't work here. They don't have any job in the city of Lakewood Beach. My name is Mr. William Joseph, and I'm here for you. I am your candidate. Change will come. We can do better. So remember, on March 9,
Thank
vote
you.
for me.
Ms. Triolo?
We've got a lot of great things happening right now, and a lot of great things were happening before the global pandemic, and some things slowed down a little bit because of that. It's still going on. There's strains going on right now that are more contagious than before. So we can't forget, number one, you want my experience because I've been able to navigate through the global pandemic, and we're going to be one of the first sites for local vaccinations. I want to continue with the infrastructure projects that I've had, the road bonds, and fixing our streets and our infrastructure, our water, sewer. I want to be able to address sea level rise to protect our oceanfront and our waterfront communities, as well as protect inner communities that are also affected by sea level rise in regards to sewer. The construction plans are underway. I never wanted to be a career politician. I wanted to fix things and provide solutions. I have done everything I promised, except for getting the Gulf Stream open, and we don't own that property, but I'm going to do it hopefully here within the next couple of weeks. That's going to bring thousands of jobs. Just the opening of Viva La Playa on our beach, there was a call for 100 new jobs. In fact, I sent Mr. Joseph that to please get out, because he was mentioning about jobs and saying, please, we've got jobs here. We've probably created over 1,000 to 2,500 jobs between the Park of Commerce that's been empty for 50 years and never got through. We've achieved our things. Let me finish.
Thank you.
Not finished now, I'm meaning, let me finish what I started.
Ms. Betty?
One of the reasons that I believe that I would be a better mayor than Ms. Triola is temperament. 8 years on a dais and 32 years as an attorney and 22 years as a private attorney and mediator. I believe that I have the temperament to run a meeting. I have watched the meetings, and I got phone calls from friends in Greece and friends in England. Do you live in Lake Worth? I said, yes, I do. Well, we just watched your mayor run off the dais. I believe that I could run a meeting I welcome opposition. I welcome new ideas. We have asked specifically the commission for more information and more public input. And just the other day, the mayor said, transparency, transparency. I never want to hear that word again, because she's not really a fan of transparency. I am. I believe that we are smart enough and care enough about the city to get the information that we need. The beach, the casino, there's a big room upstairs that for the past 6 years is used as a storage room. There's a ballroom on one side and the same size room on the other side, and we're storing tables and chairs. That is a lost opportunity. 7 years that we've not used that room. Information doesn't cost anything. The kinds of things that we could very easily change in the city to make it more accessible are things that do not cost any money.
Time's up.
My name is Betty Resch, and I'm asking for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much on behalf of the Hispanic Political Action Committee and on behalf of many of our members of our chamber who are part of the Lake Worth community, many of our friends, many of the customers of La Guia News and in the Lake Worth community. So we're looking forward to continue working together, and we want to wish you the best. And please stay safe. And one thing, this pandemic, like they say, ain't going away anytime soon. So we got to keep protecting ourselves, you know, and even if you get vaccinated and so forth, because it's going to be a challenge. So we got a double mask. We got to protect ourselves and continue. So thank you very much. Have a good evening, you know, and best of luck to all of you. Thank you.
Buenas
so
noches.
much.
Thank
We
you
really,
so
really
much.
appreciate it.
Thank you very